Hey guys, sorry it's been so long. I've been really busy with school and work, but now it's all coming to a close for a little while, so I'm really excited to get back into the swing of things and show you guys some good stuff. So this next project I'm going to do is a skirt. I actually found it from a blog that I started following online. I'll put the link below. She's awesome. I am in love with what this girl does. She kind of reinvents clothing that she has, like a guy's t-shirt. She will change it to be a woman's t-shirt. So I'm really excited about it, and I want to try out this new skirt that she has just kind of given me the idea for, which it's pretty easy, pretty simple, but I'm just going to show you guys how to do it. It's pretty much a pencil skirt. So all you need is about a yard of fabric. It depends on your size, so that could vary. There's not really a pattern for this, so all we need is your measurements. So you are going to need a ruler. You will need your sewing machine, of course, and some thread. So let's get started, and I'll show you how to measure. So we're going to start off by showing you how to measure for your skirt. You're going to want to write these things down so that we can use them later when we're cutting out the fabric and marking the fabric up. So let's get started. All you're going to need is some tape. This is my tape right now. It's kind of jumbled up, but that's okay. I just need this long, about at least 2 yards maybe. Actually, mine's like 1.5 yards is all I need. And what you're going to start out, we're going to start by measuring our waist. This is your natural waist. It's about where your belly button is. Mine's about right here. So I'm going to measure right here, not my hips, but my waist. So you just take the measuring tape, measure around you. If you need help, you can get someone to help you, hopefully. And then you're just going to measure about right there. And that's one measurement. So I'm going to write that one down as my waist. Next, I'm going to go to my hips. And I'm going to measure my hips. And that actually, it's your love handles. So my love handles are right here. So I'm going to measure right there. So hips, love handles. That's your second measurement. And then I'm going to measure, what's this one called? Hip booty area. So it's going to be right at my bottom. Yes, this is my bottom, ladies. And I'm going to measure right there. That's going to be my next measurement. So write those 3 down. Next, we're going to come however long you want it. You're going to come to that length. I'm doing about to my knees, a little bit past. So however wide you want it at your knees, you're going to measure that. So I'm just going to do a little bit. I don't want it too tight that I can't walk, but I don't want it too loose that it's not a pencil skirt. So I'm going to do it about here. It's about 32, I think, is what this one says. But you can do it whatever you want. If you want it wider, you can do it wider. So then you write all those down. Next, you're going to take all those measurements and add 1 inch to all of those measurements. And then next, you're going to divide them all by 2 because you're just going to cut out 1 front and 1 back. And that 1 inch is going to be for the seams so that you have room for the seams and you're not cutting into your fitting area. So that is how you're going to size yourself and then figure out your measurements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those measurements that I have divided in half and I'm going to start with my skirt. I'm going to make sure it's the right length first, and then I'm going to make sure I have the largest width that I need. So my largest width was about, I think it was 21. I've already started marking mine just so I don't confuse you while I'm measuring. First, you want to put a line down the center of your fabric. I actually use a purple marking pen. You can't really tell, but there's marks all going down. You can't tell from that far away. So once you have it set up to where your fabric is the right length and then will be the right width for you, you're going to start at the top and you're going to measure the first measurement that was your waist. So where your belly button is. And you're going to create a measurement from one end to the other, making sure you're right in the middle. So let's say you were 20 inches wide, or your number was 20, and so the 10 would need to be right in the middle, so you have 10 inches on the side and 10 inches on the side. So that way when you cut it out, it'll be even. And then next, you're going to do your love handles, your upper hips, right here. Now, the problem with this is that you want to make sure you are the right distance down from your waist. So what I did is I just measured. I went from my waist and I just went a little bit down to my hips. So it was about 5 inches. So I put that down and I measured that. So I got that 5 inches down. So I'm going to measure it down and mark it. So from right here, I want to put my next width. So I did that, and that was a little bit wider. So let's say it was 22 inches. So I made sure 11 was right in the middle. So I had 11 on this side and 11 inches on this side. So that way it was the right width. Are you guys in there with me? Alright, so then we went to our hips / buttocks area. That is our next side down. So what I did is I measured the length of that as again. So that way I know how long I want it to be. So, and then I put my width down, and that was about 23 inches. Let's say that's what it was. So make sure you're right in the middle. You would have, 11.5 on one side and 11.5 on another side. So that way you're even on both sides. Again, I cannot emphasize that enough, or you'll have a lopsided skirt. Then next, you are going to put your knee length, and that is about pretty much how wide you want it to be. Now that, I just put it to the end of my fabric because that's how long it's going to be, and that's how long I decided it's going to be. So if you want to, you can measure the length, and then you do the width. Mine was about 18, so 9 will be right down the middle. 9 on one side, 9 on the other side. So that is how we're going to lay out our fabric. I've marked, this is a line, this is a line, this is a line, this is a line, and then I just curved it out, just like a pencil skirt would be. Marked the curve, and next we will pin it and cut it out. So here's my skirt all cut out, and now I'm ready to sew it actually. So I'm going to take all my pins out. The really great thing about this kind of skirt is that I can alter it at any point and any time, even after I'm done working on it, if it doesn't fit. So that's another thing. If you might want to make it, if you think it might be too small, or you're just worried it might be too small, make it a little bit bigger, and then you can just taper it in however much you need to. So now we are going to make sure we have right sides together. Oh, and I forgot to cut my fabrics apart. So just pin up both these sides. Do not pin right here or right here. Those will be where your body goes and your legs go. So here's my skirt. It's all pinned and ready to be sewn. So let's do that right now, alright? Make sure you just have your sides pinned just like this. Just pin both sides. So we're all set, ready to sew. All I'm going to do is put it to the edge. I'm going to do a really close, well, not too close of a seam. You don't want to be too close so it'll come undone. And then you'll just have to sew all over again. So I'm going to do probably about 1/4, 1/2 inch seam. So I'll just start sewing. And I'm going to sew straight down the skirt, just right along the edge. And that's what I'm going to do. So just continue to sew. And you can take your pins out, or if you want to slowly sew over, then you can. You just have to be slow and make sure they are horizontal on the fabric, not vertical. So if they're vertical, you'll probably hit the head of the needle, and that will not be good. I'm going to take mine in a little bit up at my natural waist because mine's too wide. So here is my first seam. The first line that I made right down the side. This is just the right side of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, on my sewing machine, I'm going to sew the same exact line, but about 1/2 inch in. Right here, I'll just sew down till I get to about here. Because I don't want to go all the way, I don't want to take it in 1 inch all the way down. That would be way too much, and then it would be way too tight on me. So, I'm just going to sew about 3 inches down. So, I'll show you. From top to bottom, it's about that much that I'm going to sew. So let me do that right now. I'm just going about 1/2 inch in. You can measure this if you want to. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. It's stretchy fabric. You know, it'll work with me, right? At least that's what I hope. I'll curve in within a couple of inches and meet up with the line that we already made right there. And then I'll stop and pull it off. And voila, I've taken my skirt in about 1/2 inch or more. Well, maybe a little bit more than 1/2 inch. So I've done that. I can do it on the opposite side as well, as much as I would like. So if you guys want to do that, go for it. So once you've sewn in, here's my new line, here's my old line, and it just comes down to here. What you can do is you can actually cut that extra fabric off, so that way it doesn't bug you, or you can just leave it. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut too close to the new line, about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch to be safe in, or away from that line. The next step is going to be the hem. This is going to be the top hem that I'm going to show you first, which is going to be exactly like the bottom hem depending on how you want to do it. So now what I have done, I've already started pinning. This is what it's going to look like on the inside. So this is the inside, this is the outside, so that's what it'll be on the opposite side. On the inside though, I've done this. You will notice that there is no fraying. That is because I've turned it under again. That is something that can keep it clean. If you don't have a serger, which I've learned sergers are great, but if you want something a little more clean cut, this is a great way. A lot of people iron it. I am not ironing it right now. Mine actually is curling under, so it's doing it naturally. So what you do is you just fold it under, and then you fold it under again, and then you pin it. And that will create a nice seam. There won't be any fraying either, so that's also a very big positive. So just do that all around the top, and then I'll explain a little bit more about the bottom in a moment. Once you are done pinning the top hem, now it comes the time to sew it. This is a little tricky if you did the type of hem that I did, because you want to make sure, because of this turning under part, you want to make sure you sew close down here, not up here, because if you sew up here, this part down here will just flip back out, and there would be no reason for you even having it that way. So make sure you sew so the part down here won't flip out. And just start slowly sewing. You might want to sew slow just so you get that extra fabric that's underneath. And you can sew over a needle. You just want to sew nice and slow and be careful not to hit the sewing needle with the pinning needle. Alright, our next step is going to be the bottom hem. And I've already started pinning that as well, right along here. Before we get sewing the hem, I want to make sure you guys understand that to have the front and back lined up, you want to make sure they are lined up. You don't want to pin them together. That would be really bad, because then your legs wouldn't be able to go through. But you want to make sure this hem is, the back hem is the same as the front hem, or it'll look really funny. You just want it to be a nice circle. Slowly just start going. Now that we're done, I hope you guys like your skirt. I loved mine. I actually wore mine to church today, dressed it up. I'm actually really excited about this pattern that we found. I'm probably going to make more skirts, different styles. You could widen down here. You could widen it and make it just an A-line skirt. That would be really cute. So have fun with it. Make your own different ideas. You could add pockets or bows or whatever you would like. And I hope to see you guys next time for our next project. So see you then. Bye!